Oh, I think we're good to go, right?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next session of Redefine Tomorrow 2023. This session, we're going to be covering DeFi's next big thing, liquid staking tokens. My name is Rishi. I lead the APAC Web3 team at Google Cloud. I'm joined here by Constantine, co-founder of Lido. I am super excited to be moderating this fireside chat. Constantine is a well-known name and has an absolutely incredible impact in the ecosystem. We got 30 minutes. I reckon we get straight into it. Constantine, maybe a quick intro about yourself and Lido and what inspired you to create Lido.
Yeah. Hi, Richard. And thank you for bringing me here. Yeah. So I started in blockchain space back in 2014, and why? First of all, I was born in Russia, and yeah, and before 2014, I worked in retail and there are some other areas, and what I get that it was a lot of crises. Every couple of years, we had a new crisis, and it was really not good to depend from this type of economy because it wasn't, how to say, balanced and efficient. And when I saw the space, blockchain space, back in 2014, I was inspired and I started to make a research, and so in 2014, we did a research, one of the first research about blockchain assets, where we took all the assets with valuation with more than $100,000, split them on blockchains and applications. The market size was only $5 billion back then. And we saw these unique things that it's either permissionless, that it is either transparent, open for everyone, and it's a global platform. And so we made the thesis that it will be the most growing market for the next 10 years. And, it is already 9 years. I'm here working only on blockchains. Back in 2014, we invested in a lot of these layer one solutions, or first of all, Ethereum ICOs and other. After that, we had a fund. And in 2018, I launched P2P.org. P2P.org is a staking service. Why I started to do it? Because first of all, I invested in many L1s who were focused on proof of stake. Mm-hmm. And the second is because I understood that to keep them, because I understood that the blockchain is the foundation, for digital world, and to make them, to evolve them, and to help them, you need to keep them decentralized and censorship resistant. And if you will not do it, then you will make just a database that value will be zero. And so, I start to run a validation nodes by myself, and P2P.org, we start to be one of the biggest staking provider. And in 2020, we also start to work on liquid staking. Why? Because first of all, we saw the issue in Ethereum that if nobody will launch such type of middleware like decentralized platform, Ethereum will be centralized, and in a way, because it was really complex to run a node, and stake is for usual person, or a fund, or any other party. And the second, that exchanges could give you a pretty great service, centralized service, and also in case of business model, the LTV from people who they bring into the platform are really really high. And that's why, it was clear that exchanges like Rock and Coinbase, they will take this market. And and that's why, we start to work on liquid staking and launch it in 2020. Yep.
Awesome. I think it's an amazing background and journey that you've taken to get here. Let's maybe double click into some of the stuff within Lido, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about LST. What is it and how exactly it works?
Yeah. So first of all, in traditional staking model, cryptocurrency holders can lock up their tokens or coins to help secure a blockchain network. Yep. And and it has some problems why? Because people don't want to be first of all, and what is staking here? First of all, because LST is liquid staking token, and what is staking? Staking is when it's a mechanic that's used in blockchain to secure the blockchain. And how it's work? Usually, you have your tokens, and in this blockchain that run proof of stake, and you have you need to make some work. The first thing, so for example, to run a node. The second, you get risk. If you do your job bad, then you can be slashed, for example. So you will lose part of your tokens. And there's the third important part that if you do your job well, you will take rewards. And to be sure that you didn't took your reward and get your money back, and also did something wrong for the network, your capital usually locked. Depends on the network. It is different logic. For example, in Cosmos and Polkadot, you have 2 or 3 weeks lockup. So 3 or 4 weeks, and in case of other networks, you have some other type of lockups. For example, in the case of Ethereum, you have a QR, and it depends on how many validators are exiting. And to make this product better, you need people don't want, first of all, to be locked their capital for a long time. The second, they want to have liquidity, and also in the same time, you have an issue that it is their lending price and it is their staking price. And if, for example, lending price is higher, so for example, you can give your ETH to lending protocol and it will give you more rewards, then maybe a rational actor, if the risk is the same, will use, and it can also be bad for security of the network. That's why, one of the solutions that was created is liquid staking tokens that give you both. You can, for example, participate in the decentralization of the network. So you put capital, you put your ETH, and you get the token baked by the ETH. So you use a middleware, a smart contract platform. You deposit one Ethereum, you get one staked Ethereum, and you can reuse the staked Ethereum in decentralized finance. And that's liquid staking tokens are in general, are tokens that represent you this security of the. So you put you make a network secure, and for that you get rewards.
Yeah. No, I think that's really well explained, and I think just generally we've seen the growth in the space is evident by all the users and the market cap and so forth. On the LST side, you talked a little bit about this on your introduction too, but how does LST's decentralized approach to staking really differ from the centralized providers? Maybe you can kind of dive into that and explain the advantages to the individual users of the decentralized approach.
Yeah. Can you repeat another one? If so,
Yeah,
can you repeat the question? Sorry, I tried to switch on my microphone and I lose a little bit. Yeah.
No problem at all. So I'll repeat it again. How does LST, you mentioned a little bit about this in the introduction, but how does LST's decentralized approach to staking differ from the centralized providers, and what are the advantages this offers to users?
Yeah, thank you very much for the questions. First of all, LST represents a decentralized approach to staking. While there are also centralized providers like Binance or Kraken or Coinbase that can provide liquid staking on their chain too. And the difference is significant. Why? Because in case of centralized providers, you get a risk of centralized provider because they are custody of your funds, and your funds are run by this entity. Also, sometimes it's not enough transparency. In case of a decentralized approach, you first of all, you control your funds. Why? Because you are using middleware. And now, especially when withdrawals were activated, you can deposit your ETH, you can get stake this, you can self-stake this, or use stake this. And it means that everything run on smart contracts level, so everything is open, transparent, programmable, and what it introduce you technology regulation, where if it's designed and programmed well, then you use a technology that provides all the service. And in general, it's more secure, transparent, and permissionless. Anyone can participate in it.
Got it. Okay, awesome. As the LST landscape is growing significantly, and as it continues to grow, where do you see the future of this market?
I think that the future of the market, first of all, these are new innovations that are coming, like SSV or like DVT technology, distributed validated technology. I think that we're still waiting for some features in case of Ethereum. For example, withdrawal activation by smart contracts. So because for now you don't to exit validator, it's possible only if validator will make this exit. In future, the protocol can do it by itself, and so this feature will also open a lot of it will make liquid staking better. DVT technology, for example, it will make more way where, for example, one node can run by multi-parties, and some of them can be solo validators, some of them can be professional validators, and it will make Ethereum secure, like decentralization and centralization even more decentralized and secure. Also, I see a lot of innovations that are going from Ethereum foundation that they're working on proposal block separation, and also they're working on MEV billion feature. And I think that liquid staking will go more in a middleware that, first of all, will have a validation market under it, and it will be just smart contracts that will be in the future, I hope, as much as possible trustless, and where people don't trust, like any provider, they can just it's already open, transparent, and decentralized, but there's still a lot of job to be done to make it even better. And I think that the main things that should be delivered by liquid staking are, first of all, decentralization. Why? Because the value of Ethereum, because of Ethereum is a value and communication layer for the whole internet, and to make it really secure, you need to. That is what the main topic, and where the all liquid staking solutions will work around. And and also they will try to maximize rewards. Maybe they will provide some staking features that also can be interesting, like when Ethereum can be used in other use cases, run more infrastructure. But also don't forget that it also has a lot of risks.
Got it. We've talked a lot about liquid staking tokens. Maybe if we take a step back, and it'll be really good to get your personal view on, why do you personally believe in DeFi? As one of the kind of innovators and pioneers in the space, like, what is your personal kind of belief over here?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the questions. First of all, I'm a big fan of DeFi, and I think that it's only the beginning of DeFi, because, it started to have first adoption maybe like in 2022, 2021 with launch of, Maker will launch early, like it was a big work on our side, but this big growth was during the last bull market, and but it's really found a product market fit. And when people are looking, like in Alpha, they try to look new fields. I think that DeFi is that market that will be in the next bull market, one of the more interesting, and especially because it will be launch of many new products. what DeFi gives you open and finance without trust. And that, I mean, of course, it is a lot of risk and issues there. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, but in general, like it gives you open, permissionless finance that people all over the world can use. And I think that we will see a significant amount of growth of new applications that will come and build, because it's already clear that it is a product market fit.
Yeah.
It's already clear that it is some large liquids or large DeFi protocols that are found as product market fit. And I think it will be like thousands of new ones. And for me, DeFi is not only about, it is more about how we change the system. Because for now, we have in the world a lot of inefficient centralized finance systems that should be regulated. Why? Because they take users' money and they can steal them or like operate not efficient. That's what we see during 2022. A lot of them collapse. If you compare it with DeFi protocols, our curve like any other, you can just look, for example, on G's price and Stex's price. Yep. It's just, and it is just another proof that what we are doing and what we believe, it really works in production for already like 4 or 5 years. And it means that if for next couple of years we deliver even more different application on top of it, then we will have a more open finance and more open, market. And I really believe that the next growth will be like part of that will be from, and one of the most part is from DeFi. Of course, it is a lot of other use cases, a lot of other applications that will be, I hope you'll find the product market with GameFi, identities and so on. But I'm sure the DeFi will be like the next big thing. It's already a big thing, but it will grow and scale even more. Next.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I think, like, I'll share a little bit on my personal side. Like, I think it's a no-brainer. I think that like you said, the product market fit is already there. I think that as and when the next bull market comes, it's definitely going to be a massive part of it. There's going to be other things that carry it also, but you're just going to see the user base grow significantly as the products get better, as the UI gets better. And we at Google over here are seeing massive innovation on that side, on the DeFi side, where people are building really cool stuff to make it easier for people to use. So I think I couldn't agree with you more. Something you touched on was risk. I'd like to touch base. Maybe we talk about the positives. We should also talk about the risks, right? So what do you see the biggest risks and issues within the DeFi space that could come around, or could be solved even?
I think we'll go there. I will also want to add one more point about why DeFi. I think that. I mean, it is first of all, like what blockchains give you is give you technology regulation. And what does it mean? That you can program something and it will work as it's programmed. And so you use smart contracts and you can define some logic, and it can be trustless. And a good example of that is Ethereum. So Ethereum as a virtual machine. And it's defined. It has defined rules, and it will work deterministically. And in DeFi, and also like it's a really important part of the governance. In general, it would be great to not have governance at all. But sometimes when you need to upgrade the protocol, you still need to have that. And but what it gives you, first of all, it gives you like technology regulation, and this is one of the biggest things on blockchain, because when you go into AI regulation or any type of other regulation, you have first of all like classical regulation, and here you have some issues sometimes. For example, we can remember when the USD dollar was backed by gold, like in one day, some like person in the US, Nixon, came and said, "Oh, it's now not backed anymore." Can they do it? Yes, of course, they can do it. But the question is, did they ask, people who already like get this bond? It was a bond. Now it's more paper. No, they didn't ask anyone. Maybe and that is a good example what we have in case of regulation or where people trust paper or words or some law, and uh, uh, and of course it's needed until we don't have this type of technology. You can imagine if, for example, it was this USD dollar back in 1970s were built on top of blockchains, and to get this gold collateral from USD, you need to have a voting, or USD holders have a veto power, before you can change something. And that's what is, for example, Lido proposed to make a dual governance, where stakes holders can veto any upgrade of smart contracts. And this is a great example of technology regulation. It's where we are going, and it's intersection of DeFi and governance, how this protocol should work. And this is a pretty large innovation that can be used in other areas. And I think that that can bring a lot of, it can eliminate trust when you don't need a trust, or find a way how to resolve this issue. And yes, that is one point that I want to mention. The technology regulation is great. Let's speak about risk and issues. That is a more interesting topic because, first of all, you should understand that when you, for example, in case of staking, yes, when you do staking, or when you use any smart contract in decentralized finance, you get risk and you get a lot of risk. And first adopters, they accept a lot of risk. And what type of risk? First of all, when if it's done on smart contracts level, then you have a smart contract risk. And this risk is significant. And why? Because it can be just mistake by developers. Even if it's audited, it still we have a lot of examples, where the top protocol has smart contracts issues. Yeah. And this is, I think, one of the biggest risks. It is also a lot of others. Sometimes it can be, it is regulation risk. Regulation is not clear. And that is an issue. It would be much better if we would different centralized finance that bring more risk and and decentralized finance. It is also some protocols are misleading. They say that they're run by smart contracts, but they are run by multi-sig, for example, of 3%, and they can just steal the money or change the protocol in their way. So it is a lot of things that we need to do. We need to make more education. I think that we need to show what are the good protocols, that really decentralized. And in this case, I think they can be unregulated because it's a middleware, just a piece of software. Yeah. And when it is a CeFi that use smart contracts, for example, USDT is a smart contract, or centralized liquid staking is also they use smart contract, but they have a keys from that. And that's where regulation is definitely needed because this user needed protection. So this is and in case of DeFi, risks, for example, in case of liquid staking tokens, it's first of all, smart contract is second, this logic. For example, it can be economical attack on this logic. We saw a lot of them. It is a flashing risk. For example, if in case of staking, one of the big part of validators start to go offline, or they double sign by some reason, or have some other issues, then it is also user can response. And it is, in case of, for example, AMMs, they have a permanent loss, and it is a price volatility. Sometimes it is interoperability risk, because when you, for example, always when you use decentralized finance, when you use another platform, for example, you use Lido, then other, then a bridge, or a bridge and then other. That is you aggregate all the three together,
Yeah.
And sometimes its risks are much higher than your reward, and that's what people usually don't get, and they need to be more careful because it is there any reward, for example, in case of running infrastructure, that is a big risk around that still. And there are also some issues here. I think regulation clarity is one of them. Adoption. I think Ethereum did a lot with account abstraction. There's also innovation that will drive the super to Ethereum, because before that, it was really hard to make simple solution for. It was hard to make simple solution for billion users, and why? Because you need to pay fees on Ethereum and so on. Now, it's done, and when we will have cheaper fees, it will make even more adopt. For now, you know that the price on fees is really high. Of course, it is adoption of L2, but this L2 also has this risk, and they are still not so in decentralized phase. And and we should speak about that at the same time as we speak about the benefits. We should speak about risk, because more people understand that and get it, and if they in the first wave of innovation and they accept this risk, they should understand and clear and see how these protocols mitigate this risk long term.
Got it. No, I think look, it's very important for people to understand the risk. I think you explained it well. I think people need to do the homework on it. But yeah, I think you explained it well. So we talked about liquid staking tokens, then we went one step back, talked about DeFi. Now I'll take even one step back, and this is probably this is the last question. We have 2 minutes left. With all the news and the steam ahead of Gen AI, where do you see the use cases of AI as a whole in the blockchain space?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I was in Zuzalu, it was an intersection between AI and blockchain. It was a really good conference. And it was a lot of interesting use cases. First of all, ZKML, where people can use ZK infrastructure to prove that they did some computation and on this particular data set. And also, I think that it's already a lot of people who start to use AI in some way, or like ZK, or ML, or deep, or deep learning. And that is I think the main one are and people, we have already some companies like Gauntlet who try to use it for blockchains. It's either developers who write code using some type of technology. It's either people who will use it in case of governance, just to clarify and have objective vision of some type of proposal. So it was a big exposure, after GPT-4 launch, and everybody get that, it's happened. And I think that, this technology, AI and blockchain, will be close together, especially artificial autonomous agents that can run on top of blockchains. It's an interesting area. And also, to regulate AI and to make it more, to secure, I think that blockchain technology can also be part of this foundation for that.
Yeah, exactly. And you're also seeing them both evolve at the same time right now. They're both taking their own paths, but I could definitely see them merging, and we'll see that over here at Google. But it looks like we're run out of time. Constantine, thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone for listening, and thank SCB for throwing such a great event.
Thank you. Keep building, guys.
Take care.